A lot of people don't have patience.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So that's a major thing is having patience. A lot of people just want instant gratification at what they're doing.
Right.
And you can have somebody who just started a clothing line last week, and they want 20,000 followers or 20K in sales, and that's not how it works. You got to be patient with it. It takes time.
Yeah, it's a build.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm laughing because as soon as they said, all right, we getting the cameras rolling, nigga West started to pump his chest up. Nigga wanted to see Diesel for the episode. Like, what is you doing? Nigga said, all right, cameras rolling. Nigga did like, bro, you have not been working out. Fucking.
Now you gotta get the posture right too, you know.
Doing a couple push-ups there.
Nah, how y'all feeling though, yo?
We good. Happy to be here.
Nah, that's a fact. I ain't gonna lie. When I first thought of this shit, I'm like, you know, I was going back and forth with myself, like, of who I wanted to put with who. Like, my whole thing was just to, like, have people with each other just so, like, it's not uncomfortable. And just so we could feel comfortable. Even, like, as men and women, we be like, you know, the cameras be rolling, and we just freeze up. Mm-hmm. And my whole thing was, like, even, like with Wes, like, Wes is just a guy, like, I could put him with anybody, and he's just gonna spark it, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so funny, like, I'll be listening to the radio and a nigga, to me, like, he sound like DJ Envy. Like, when they talk, it's the same, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just always one of those, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I just wanted to be, like, on some free flow shit, just to be comfortable and shit like that, you know what I mean? So that was, yeah, that's how I felt, like, you know what I mean? I know how you feel, Trav. Like, we get together, bro, we both Leos, we be like, yo, bro, like, all right, what's gonna be happening? The sun gonna be out? Like, you feel me? Yeah, we be on our Leo shit, and then that shit just be like, you know what I mean? But once we start getting rolling, we rolling, you get what I'm saying? I remember my first photo shoot ever, bro, like, niggas taking pictures of me was with him. He called me facts. Called me last minute, like, yo, I just need a favor. I'm like, I bet. Like, you get what I'm saying? And niggas taking pictures of me. I ain't never had that since Mr. Rogers? Mr. Rob. When I was a kid, bro, he was taking pictures in his crib. My mom had me taking pictures every week. I wouldn't smile. You see me like it's mugshot. It's giving mugshot. Like, you feel me? Like, I wouldn't smile. None of that. Word. Like, yo, sit up. And I'm like, yo, that wasn't my thing. But so when he called me, I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna finesse this shit, but we gonna just do it. Like, you know what I mean? And I just tried to execute that shit. Like, so like, what was that vision? Like, when you just had in mind, like, yo, I want a certain look. Was it a certain look you was going for?
It was a certain look. It was also, I know you fly, so you know what I'm saying. I had to put you in it just because you fly. And it's also the look that you give the clothes as well. So if you got a fly individual in your clothes, it's gonna make the next person who might not be as fly as you, but look up to your fly, be like, nah, let me go get that, cause she killed that. You know what I'm saying? That was the vision when I did that. Anytime I do a photo shoot, I try to get people who are naturally fly, not somebody that we might have the pieces, but not. They might not have the ability to put the fit together. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. I ain't gonna lie, that's a fact.
It makes it easier for our photo shoots if we got somebody who could put it together, and we just got to bring the pieces. Like, yo, this is what I need you to bring. You might already just have all that shit. So that was the vision with that.
Nah, that's a fact. I ain't gonna lie, that shit was hard. Like, even Ron taking pictures, he like, yo, we don't gotta take no more. This is good. And I'm like, oh shit, I killed this shit. One of the nights I could go home and talk shit. Like, I only had a few pictures. I don't care about the edits. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it was just dope. Like, but just being on the set, like, me as a videographer, and I mean, you a painter, photographer, and designer and shit like that. Like, it's all imperative. Like, we need each other.
Yeah,
but like on the set, like how the fuck do we be able to even come together? Because sometimes I know, like, sometimes I be wanting to tap into, like, styling. And I mean, I'll talk to certain people and they be like, yo, just be ready, because certain niggas be just feeling like they fly already. They don't need you. Now, I mean, so what you do in that sense? Like,
I think if I could take the stage real quick, all of those creative endeavors blend together. You know what I mean? So never feel like it's like out of your realm to be like, I can style too. Because your eye is always gonna be your eye regardless of what your medium is, you feel me? So it's like if you do videography and XYZ, you could also give that hand to be like, nah, let's have you like that. One of my biggest things is like directors. Some of my favorite directors are very knowledgeable of people's character and people's nuances, like Scorsese. I'm a big Scorsese guy, and Tarantino. Long story short, when it comes down to that, he picks certain characters because they bring out a role. But that's not just visual, that's like you know people. You know people, you know what I mean? So it's like that's a talent among your other talents. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta like lean into that too.
And then I know like even sometimes like people will call me for certain shit and they don't even have a sense of direction that they want to go. And for me that should be a little bit hard because it's like I know if I want something done, I know how I want it done. You feel me? If I want a sneaker, I know how I want that sneaker. If I want some jeans, I know that I want the fit that way. And if the fit don't come that way, but I like to look, I'm taking them shits to the cleaners. You get what I'm saying? Like, so even that, like I know you take pictures of people and it's like, yo, damn, pose like this. Because y'all have people in charge of poses. And that was the first time I even seen that. Like, somebody on the side like, yo, can you do this pose? I'm like, all right, cool. Like, you get what I'm saying? But you got to do that. And it's like, damn, niggas don't know how to pose. We bugging. Like, you get what I'm saying? So, like, how you deal with that?
I mean, the energy, you know, when you're behind the lens, you get to see everybody, you know, you see them raw, you know, you can see them insecure. They're like, oh, no, I don't think I'm, and you have to kind of like coach them to where you want them to be, you know what I'm saying? And it's also scary when they give you creative control because it's now you're in control of their baby. Like, you know, I want you to do what you do. And it's like, it's not necessarily what I would execute will be what you want. So it's very scary in that sense too, as well as being a creative too.
No,
but you know, but as you're looking through the lens, you can see the person come alive. Like you said, it was natural for you. I see that you were nervous as I'm nervous right now, but you know, we're all familiar with each other, you know, we were all making jokes, having fun, making everybody feel a little bit more comfortable. And you see it within that little session, you can see someone come to life and that shit is magical. Like literally they're like this, but the next thing you know, they're like this, they're like this.
I think that's what's so dope about being a creator. Like you just bring people's vision to life. Like, you know what I mean? Like I could tell him something like, yo, bro, I need a logo and I want it to look like this. Like I don't know how to paint that shit. I don't know how to draw it, nothing, but I know how I want it to look. Just help me. And like he'll send it back and it's like, oh, this fire. I wasn't thinking like that, but I'm gonna go with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like shit like that just be dope. Like, and I just feel like certain shit like just with like men and women, I feel like sometimes we get to a space where like it's a little harder for one than it is the other. Like, you know what I mean? Like y'all could touch on that because I'm a woman, y'all y'all men. So like even just being on set like with women or just working, like going back and forth. Like sometimes, like I said, I'll call him and be like, yo, I need a logo, you know what I mean? And I'm just so chill. So he may not have to go back and forth with me so many times, but some women or men, it's just like so nitpick. It's like, yo, I like that, but I don't like that color. All right, but you ain't say the color. All right, we'll fix it. Well, I don't like the edge on that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how the fuck you deal with even that? Like, you know what I mean? Because I know me, like certain people, like certain guys would be like, all right, too, like I wanted you to shoot me something. And I'm like, all right, so what's your vision? I don't really got one, but I trust in you. It's like, bro.
You gotta give me something.
You gotta give me something. It's like, but too, you do this. But it's like, yeah, I need help too, bro. Like, you feel me?
If it's a kitchen, bring some ingredients.
That's what I'm saying. At least bring some salt and pepper, nigga. Like,
Right.
So that's my thing. It's like, yo, how you even like, you know, deal with that? Cause like that's just certain. Like, I feel like, you know, they off rip. They feel like, you know, women sell, we sell. You know what I mean? Just like our, you know, sexuality and like sexiness and stuff like that. But then it's like, how about you got a woman that we don't know our direction?
Exactly.
Then what?
It's funny because I feel like when it comes down to like direction, a lot of times you gotta, as the creative like spearhead, you gotta take the lead. Like we were just talking about like ingredients, and I like to cook as well. So and that's like a form of like creative expression.
Absolutely.
The kitchen is like a place where you could like do your own thing or do not and do less.
Right.
And it's nourishment. Like there's a need to cook, but outside of that, like. We made that analogy because it's like if you don't have ingredients to work with, you can't really chef up.
Right.
Regardless of how good you are behind the stove.
It goes down to even the pots and pans and shit
you know what I'm
too
saying?
with that.
Exactly. So it's like if you have nothing to work with, it is hard for you as a creative to kind of like get going. You usually need some kind of like meat and potatoes to work with. And to be like, you know what, I'm
something.
You gotta exactly
to bounce off your
ideas.
It's
a balance.
It's a balance, and that's what I was gonna get into after that. Like balance goes with everything. You know what I mean? Everything that we doing, like, you know what I mean? Like no matter what. Like, you could eat this, but you may not be able to eat too much of it.
Right.
Like, I haven't ate meat in almost 3 years.
Wow.
But I've been eating fish. You can't have too much fish, nigga, either. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
mercury
mean?
point, it is like-
Yeah, it's like, bro, just because I'm eating fish, that don't mean I'm the healthiest person in the world, nigga. Too much of that, you start, nigga, you go to the bathroom and be like, yeah, you alright? You feel me? So it's like, you know, balance is like key. Like, so I, you know what I mean? Just working with that, like trying to just figure out my own sense of direction. Like, damn, like, what do I do today? Like, even down to like expressing myself as far as like clothes, like, or clothes, or just express myself, period. Like, I get so to the point where I'm so calm, you know what I mean? And like, I'll take the high road with shit. And then that one day, it'd be like, whoa, you alright? Yo, you good? Because I never seen that side of you, nigga. That's the, I ain't have balance that day, bro. You feel me? I couldn't.
But people don't know how to handle that when you're so like on an even keel, and then one day you just wild out there like, I don't know what the hell happened.
Right.
Oh, it's the end of the world. This dude's always cool.
Yeah, it's like
he
you
lost
stepped
his-
out of the box.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like that stepping out of the box is cool though. Also, you know, as long as you have some balance with that. And like I said, creative expression is to be stepped out of. Like, you're
Absolutely.
not supposed to stay. That's why everyone regards Rell as like one of like the creative geniuses of our time, because he goes into so many mediums. It's like music and this and that and watchmaking and blah blah blah. That's because he's interested in that thing. His creative, how would I say it, like wheelhouse, and he's just genuinely interested in the things he's interested in. You know what I mean? And that's how I've always taken my practice. Like, if I'm interested in like customizing dirt bikes one summer or blah, 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 like that's what I'm doing. And I'm gonna lean into those interests because they are all expressions. Right. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people limit themselves because they think like, oh, you know, like that don't make sense in like the space I'm in because I design clothes or I do art. Or, like, so what fuck am I gonna be doing, like designing a MacBook for Tim Cook or who, like, you know, but you can do that.
Yeah, you
because
can.
the mind runs wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're supposed to keep on going like that.
You
You
should.
can't limit yourself.
Yeah, because society, a lot of people they limit themselves every day. They say, I can't do that. I like this, but I can't do that. And I think that a lot of people project that onto you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, say, I don't know, say one day I decide to go into a cutlery line. I got knives. They're like, what the fuck you know about knives? You're a photographer. I'm like, bro, but I like to cook. Like, I cut the carrots, you know? And stepping out of your box is how humans learn themselves.
100%.
You have to learn yourself that way. Even when I got into photography, like for real, I was doing it for years, but for work, but I never decided to actually like do it right. I'm like, But my man was like, yo, man, I got some clothes, you could shoot up. But I know the principles of photography. Why can't I do that? You know what I'm saying? I started out terrible, but you know, once I learned, you know, what was required, of it, then it became more of like art to me. Like, oh, okay, nobody taking angles like this, nobody doing it like this.
That's what's having fun.
Exactly.
Right.
But we have to step out of our comfort zone. I think where we from, a lot of people are just comfortable in that little pocket. But you know, wherever I go, I try to, you know, promote like, yo, listen, do it.
Right. Just do it.
I know it sounds crazy to your mother, your aunt, your cousins, the niggas on the block. Do that shit because the only thing you can do is fail. You're not gonna die.
That's right.
You ain't gonna die. It ain't gonna hurt. You know, just try it.
But
you know.
let me say something real quick. In the hood though, I just think like the hood mentality, some of us get afraid to be creative.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just to try things, you know what I'm saying? We so like you said, we just so used to the regular normal life, just coming out on the block or whatever. But if some of us just took a time to just try certain things, it'll work.
No, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Just having patience with it. A lot of people don't have patience. You know what I'm saying? So that's a major thing, is having patience. A lot of people just want instant gratification at what they're doing. And you can have somebody who just started a clothing line last week, and they want 20,000 followers or 20K in sales, and that's not how it works. You got to be patient with it. It takes time.
Yeah, it's a build.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
No, that's a fact. And it's so funny because just to piggyback off what you were saying, Wes, like, because I remember when you first started just painting, you know what I mean? And you was just painting. And then you started the tees, you know what I mean? And then the hats. And you could start to, I remember our first fashion week. Like, we was going to fashion week and it was lit. You know what I mean? That's a whole different type of ball game, you get what I'm saying? And then even you tapping into, you know what I mean, just making accessories first. Making the hats.
Just making hats first.
You feel me?
Like me, honestly, like I said, I was going to fashion week. I wasn't into that shit. Like, I was into fashion, but I wasn't into going to fashion week. That wasn't my thing. You know what I'm saying? But I knew I wanted to be a part of fashion, but it's just, like fashion is such a big world.
It
It's
is.
like you don't have to just be a certain way.
No, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right.
you could do
Approach it from that
yeah,
angles.
you go approach it
Yeah.
from many different angles, from
Right.
kids to women's
Yeah.
to fucking pets,
All kinds.
to
Yeah, and it's all the market.
to houseware.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
it's a whole bunch of it's different lanes in everything.
It's
And
so,
that's not to cut you off, but it's so funny that you even say house stuff because I didn't know that H&M had decor.
Yeah.
I didn't
It's-
know.
I found
I didn't
that
know
out
that like
recently,
the
too,
home
yeah,
decor. I didn't
yeah.
know that until like you know what I mean. I
Which is
tap in
wild.
like I'm
It's
moving
like,
around
what? Yeah.
and
And that's a big business. Home
Right.
decor is
Home
a
decor is
big business.
humongous.
You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? It's
You gotta-
like baby clothes.
Right.
Right? It'll never go out of style. People gonna always try to keep their house fly.
Yeah.
Especially if they fly, they're gonna try to
Yeah.
have their inside of their house fly.
exactly.
it's your sanctuary.
And outside of that, if let's say if you're like the real estate agent, let's say like you want your listings to look good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's the same way
That's
you would
grab
dress
their
yourself.
attention.
Exactly. It's got to grab their attention. This shit is just like a dating app. I ain't on none of those. I don't have none of those, but it's like when you swiping left or swiping right, you want to see, it's like Airbnb. You see something and it's like, ooh, this shit's fire.
Visual.
And then it's
You
like,
need
okay,
that
I'm
visual.
interested.
Visual
You
is
got
everything.
That
visually
visual
grab.
confirmation. I
Because
need
that is your business card, that is your
That's
handshake.
everything.
It's everything.
It's your first impression.
Exactly.
Just like with the brand, like I tell the team, I be like, yo, I try to treat the brand like a rap artist.
Right.
What would the people want to see from their favorite rap artist, or how their favorite rap artist is moving? So me with the brand, I always try to keep it like, yo, that's the rap artist. Let me feel, all right, this will look good for the rap artist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's my mentality with the brand. I try to keep it like a rap artist. So everything got to be clean. Pictures got to be clean.
Yep.
He do the pictures. They got to be clean. We not
Everything
doing
on brand.
Gotta make
Yeah,
sure that's
everything-
the goal, right? to
everything
deliver,
got to
right?
be
on brand.
clean on brand with how it should look. Your favorite artist, everything look clean on their page.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's so funny that you said that because I swear I always say like when it's time to revamp the page, I reference that. Like I'll go to somebody's page,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. You go to artist page,
Yeah,
they don't
you-
play
and you
around with
look
that.
at it, yeah.
They not taking no pictures on their phone.
Nah,
They
none of that.
taking
It's like-
straight photography, professional pictures because that's a
You have
representation
to.
of you.
You
It's
have
like,
to.
oh, so you're not kidding around.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what
It's
I'm
the
saying?
look.
It's the look.
About
The look is
You command that, like, you know.
exactly.
And then it make people respect you differently than if you just did it regular. If I just put my clothes on the bed and took a picture like what's new, you're not gonna respect
You're gonna be
it.
like,
That's a fact.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you're
I
gonna
see
be
it,
like,
I see it, but
yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna respect it.
Wild, right?
But if I go take it to my man and he put it behind the white drop and the lighting right, and the
Yeah.
angles
Everything
right,
boom.
and it's like, oh, I could do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But it's just a look.
And I think when that happens, they take you more serious.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
even with you, Wes, I seen they had you painting on a BMW or something like that.
Yeah, this is a
like
couple
who's,
years back,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. And
They-
the funny thing is, Jeff Koons just dropped a BMW that he did. So I never did the BMW like art car series that they have like, which is like legendary. Jeff Koons joined recently, and I've met Jeff Koons a few times. Great dude. Long story short, his latest car looked a little, it looked very, looked a little cheap. It looked a little cheap. And I could say that because I'm an artist and I'm honest and, you know, artistic integrity is something I believe in. So it's like, it is what it is. But it looked very like knockoff of someone else's like swag. And I was like, of all things, Jeff, you could have went so much harder.
Right.
Like he got the balloon dog and all of that. Like he could have did the whole car, make it look like reflective balloon. I'm giving you mad game, Jeff.
Right,
You
right,
kidding
right.
me? Like, you know what I'm
Word
saying?
up.
But when I seen that, I had that mindset. When I approached mine, I was like, I gotta kill it. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to look like the shit is like the paint is like spreading off the fucking hood, and you know,
Right.
like I approach things in a space where it's like even if it's not A1 official yet, when it reaches their attention, they know I came serious.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's key.
Yeah,
No,
legit.
that's definitely key.
Ain't no half stepping. You know Harlem don't half step anyway.
Exactly. Right.
No,
It's like, why would you have
that's
stuff?
super flex. If it was 3 things that, not even 3, or just one thing that y'all would change around you, like right now, what would it be?
Well, that's a good question.
You want to go first?
3? Well, I know I got one. You know, like mental elevation. Like, you know, you see things, right? And you like, bro, I don't, let's just say I was in, I don't know, Dominican Republic. I was in another country. There's some people where we from that's never even left the block. And they only see as far as the corner store, as far as the liquor store. And I'm like, bro, look at this. They're like, oh my God, that should look like a movie. I'm like, this is the world, bro. This is not, this is real life. You can go see this, but you know, they have to conquer that. You really have to conquer leaving the block. Like that's literally the first step growing up and where we from. If you could leave the block, if you can make it off of the block, you like where we from, we're superheroes.
Exactly.
If you make it off the block, you are a fucking superhero. And the only, like, back to your question, I just wish that everyone can see that there's more. Like it's more than this.
Beyond
like
the block.
niggas is really like consumed by all the bullshit. They're not happy where they are, but they're not doing anything to change it. Exactly. You go to the block, niggas like, yeah, these niggas hating on me, he hating on me, he hating on me. You know, when you breeze through the block, you see them with the same motherfuckers. Like, bro, didn't you just tell me last week that
it's like
you
a breeding ground of
it's like you still here. You just have to see it, and I just wish that they can see it and they want to get that. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I would love to change. It's like, let's get it. Like, let's go do it. Let's go do whatever you just get the fuck out of here. Let's get out of here.
Leave the block alone.
Leave it.
It's so crazy because as you were saying it, I was thinking of a bunch of things, but I'll share with y'all an experience that I had. That's the whip outside booming like that. Shit, Metro booming. So this is maybe, I think 2018. Ferg hit me up and was like, yo, I got a trip playing with Hennessy, because this is when he was like dealing with Hennessy. And I was like, all right, cool. What's your plans? What's the vision? I was gonna help him with like, you know, like the visuals and stuff. I'm thinking I was just getting tapped for like the creative consulting. He was like, nah, I want you to come with me on this trip. Long story short, I had no idea what the trip was about to be. This was like a humongous like excursion trip on the behalf of Hennessy. So we were flown to Paris, business class, Air France. I'm in a joint. As soon as I get in that joint, I'm like, all right, I got my seat is mean. Yeah. Shit like a Benz. Took the sneaks off. My slippers ain't fit, but I had them joints on. So I'm like, all right, champagne, of course I will. And so boom, we get to Paris. We got 2 days in Paris. Our other boy, Kirby, who's the head and designer and director of Pierre Moss. He meets us out there. So it's a mean link up. We got 2 nights in Paris. We kill it. We get flown PJ to Cognac, to where Hennessy was started. We wind up staying in the Hennessy house. Like I'm talking about like where Hennessy was founded. So when I get there, I'm gonna paint the picture real quick. I get there, we drop our bags off, we're in the house, I feel it, I'm like, damn, this is wild. Like, you know, I just left on 25th, boarding the plane, and now I'm here. And it's not that easy, but it's that quick that things change.
Few hours.
So I get there and I'm on the pond by myself. I had to take a moment. Grabbed a cigar, lit it, had my little cognac with me, and I'm just sitting there looking at these ducks like just swimming and playing. And I'm like, that moment right there is worth $1 billion.
Yes.
Regardless of, you know, like whatever got me here, like I'm just looking at this like I'm here. And I took that richness back to my block, like, yo, where I just came from, you never believe. And I painted them the picture, and it was like, and it inspired the young dudes on my block, like, damn, like for real. I was like, yo, it's out there. It's out there. Just like you said, just go about it. Even if you don't know how, arouse yourself to the occasion to get the knowledge to get that. You know, because like you said, people in our demographic are just too scared to move.
They're too scared to move. They're too scared to ask questions as well.
Right.
Like I feel like the youth, they don't ask enough questions
at all.
How you got here or how it's going. They just
Assume.
just try to go or they assume. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Without asking questions.
Well, I mean, that's the world we live in. Basically, shortcuts. Like everything is a shortcut app. It's an app for that. Press the button. Press the button. Press the button. Absolutely.
Right.
And I think it's kind of handicapped. It's a handicap because now everything's instant gratification, instant. So anything less than instant, they don't respect it. It's not respected
No, that's
at all.
facts. Like anything like worth, when you work for things, I always say like when you work for something, anything worth having, it's gonna take you a second. It's gonna be hard. Like I'm not gonna lie. Even just moving here, I remember having a conversation with my brother, my older brother, and he was like, "Yo, just go for it. Like you feel me? You too safe." And that's my thing. Like I'm just a safe person. Like I live by myself. I was living by myself. You know what I mean? And my girl came up with the idea, like, "Yo, like let's just go for it." You know what I mean? Like we don't got nothing to lose. If anything, if it don't go right, we could. You don't need me, I don't need you. You know what I mean? And I call my brother because that's like my safe bet.
Right.
go for it, nigga. Like,
Yeah,
what's
why
gonna
not?
happen?
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? So for me, this was what helped me. Like, and even like, you know, creating the show. I remember my friends D and one of my homeboys Weez and my girl was just like, yo, you have a brother that's willing to invest in you. Your family invests in you and they support you. It's nothing bigger than that.
Yo,
you get what I'm
that's
saying?
priceless.
Like
That's
you
the
can't,
priceless.
if you call
That's
that boy
everything.
and you go to him with a strategy, a whole game plan,
Right.
he's not gonna say no. You just gotta go with him.
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah,
go
like
to him with a
boom.
plan.
Exactly.
And legit, that was it. I called him the next day. I text him, yo, bro, I got a plan. He like, all right, hurry up.
Let's do it.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, I've been
Definitely.
waiting. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yo,
So
that's
this
all you
was
need.
this right here was a change for me. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie, like I appreciated it. Like, and even today, like when I woke up, I'm like, he can either go left or right.
Right, and that's
You
all his
feel me?
homies,
Right.
Yeah.
It's
And
going right. It's
that's
everything
where,
going
that's
right.
where I
Everything's
was
going
at
right.
with
It's
it.
going
You
real.
feel me?
That's amazing.
To piggyback off of that, where you said like having people that support you and family and all that who gonna help you or whatever. That shit is so important. I feel like just like it take a village to raise a child. You know what I'm saying? Like how we all from different blocks in Harlem,
Right,
and
right.
but I'm pretty sure we all get love on our block.
Yep.
Like I
For
could go back to my block and the older people.
Yep.
I have relationships with them, the corner store, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's even like that for a business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't understand that it take a village to raise a business, even the
100%.
people around you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thankful to have my man. Like, we grew up together. We almost caught we caught charges together
Right,
almost.
right,
like,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, I also got my man with me,
On this
helping the
growth.
village.
100%.
But
feel me?
it goes both ways because once he tapped me to be like, yo, you could do this shit, I'm like, I can do this shit. So it's like I just feed off the energy.
Yeah.
And in a creative space, that's all we need. It's like a conduit. You know, you get next to another creative, y'all could take
It's
over
just
the
gonna
fucking
bounce.
world. Take
Shit-
over the world.
Shit like ping pong.
It is.
Yo,
it is.
and I'm not gonna lie, you know who, like, as far as like celebrity wise, that really made me like focus on that Nip. Like
Me
just
too.
watching Nip, he was
Like,
sticking to the
his building
script.
blocks.
That's my
Yeah.
motivation.
All
I
day.
could turn him on and
He
get
was sticking to the script, and we was just talking about that too. Like, you know, just like him, his death and stuff. I remember being in the club and he texted me. I ain't speak to him in a minute. He like, yo, too, guess what? And I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Feel me? It was Deaja's birthday, and she like, the party is done.
Yo.
Like,
nah,
you know what I
that shit
mean?
hit
So it was
different.
one of those because he just was. I could listen to Nip.
And still
Deaja
getting
put me on to
that-
Nip when I was in college.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was like,
Yeah.
nah, he talking
He
that
had that,
shit.
he had that.
You
Nah,
feel
he
me?
had it.
Watching
He
his
had
interviews
everything.
now,
Yeah.
it still resonates.
Yeah,
100%.
He knew
Especially
what's
young
going
Nip.
on.
Young Nip. He's saying shit that old rappers wasn't even saying. Invest in this, no liabilities. I'm like, what?
And the thing with Nip, what was so crazy is everything he spoke about, he did.
Right.
Like
He put it
ain't
forward.
skipped no steps.
Right.
You feel me? A lot of people try to skip the steps. He ain't skipped the steps. He went through the struggle.
Yep.
His brother getting locked up, and they had to bounce back.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
At the double back.
it's a lot of education in Nip whole little story. You just gotta pay attention to it. But that's my motivation too. I can listen to Nip
Yeah.
anytime
It's
of
like
the day.
you can relate to him anyway. Like, you know what I mean? I grew up with my brothers, like from my father's side, and I don't believe in half brother, half sister. Those are my brothers.
You're right,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
My brothers,
exactly.
my sisters, and my brother was killed 10 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? 2012, when I first out of college, he was supposed to buy me a gift. Feel me? Now it relies on my older brother, and for my older brother, that was his best friend.
Right.
So imagine that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You outside and it's like, damn.
It's real.
You get what I'm saying? So just listen to certain shit that he be saying, and then like, you know what I mean? Nobody could tell me like
Fact.
whether I was there or not. I was
Right.
there, bro.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
my brother, bro. We
Exactly.
grew up together. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's just
Yeah,
little
that's in
shit
you.
I
Yeah.
always just like try to stick with, and you know what I mean?
Facts.
Just keep me
I
motivated.
think Nip was a very, I'd say, like fundamental part of how a lot of people, even like, because as enthusiasts of like rap and music, you want somebody to like, yes, have the flow, be able to rap, have a beat, maybe have a party track, but also maybe tell you something.
Yeah.
And he was telling
He
us
was
something.
telling you.
Keeping it raw.
He was keeping it raw, and it all flowed under all those categories.
Yeah.
He never sacrificed his flow for like the message. It was always it. So I could always come to Nip and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm about to tap into my blah, blah, blah. So when that happened, I was like, damn. But it didn't make me feel shattered. It was just more so like that happened in his physical form, but it will still live on.
Absolutely.
As we talk
He's
about.
one who can live on forever.
You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? And I think that's very important, especially like in music today. It's tricky because everything is quick. We were just talking about quick gratification and you know how things are just like you cook up a beat, cook up a music and blah blah blah, and it's like out and the shit goes viral.
with no substance.
With no substance, and there's so much of that.
That's like that. We was just talking about that walking down the hall.
Yeah.
At that point, it comes to like, what is it? Which you would prefer, fame or money?
Right,
Because
right, and I think it's funny because a lot of these musicians today are choosing money because it's fame involved. So it's like like 2 in 1, as opposed to like certain lyricists and artists in music that choose their integrity about it, and money's just a byproduct of them being fire.
But you know, it's that thing in the middle that they lack. You know, like you said, it's either the fame or the money, but in the middle, the glue is the integrity. You know what I'm saying? Like we used to talk about Nip, like his music. You know, it resonated through the music, and even when he spoke in real life, it's like, yo,
exactly.
I'll roll with you, homie. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
in fact,
like
I
whatever
believe-
it is.
I believe
right,
what you say.
exactly.
I believe in you.
Absolutely.
It wasn't like it
wasn't fake.
Right. It
wasn't
was
forced.
organic.
No
It was
facade,
very organic.
exactly,
Right.
organic.
speaking of like the fake and force, do y'all feel like, as far as like being an artist and then being your personal self, is there like a difference? Because I know for me, you know, some people will see me and, you know, I feel like a lot of people want to be cool with me and it's like, nah, she not cool. But you don't know until we
Right,
speak.
till
You
they-
get what I'm
right,
saying?
yeah,
And
right.
It's like, nah, she mad cool, bro, say hi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this is just my
Right,
look.
yeah,
You know what I
exactly,
mean? Somebody
yeah.
will look at you and be like, nah, that nigga is painting, bro, leave him alone. You know, or they'll see you, bro, you smiling, it's like, all right, we can talk to Rell. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or I just
Nah,
feel
but
like
I'm like
sometimes
that too, though.
when you outside with a camera, I feel like and everybody used to always say that to me, take the camera outside, people gonna gravitate to you. You always walking around with the camera.
It's an instrument.
They're gonna give you a double look.
Right, so like you feel like do y'all feel like it's like a difference between like you as an artist and you as like legit
That's a
yourself?
really good question.
I'm gonna say I use it to my advantage, honestly. Trap Genius, my alter ego.
Okay.
You feel me? That Trap Genius is my alter ego. Rell is Rell. Trap Genius is my alter ego. So like I try to always think of that. Like I'm using Trap G as my alter ego. This is how I express myself.
And escape from your real.
escape from
right.
being Rell. Like when I'm Trap G, I'm Trap G. Like, you know what I'm saying? The energy different.
Right,
you
right.
feel me?
You get in Superman
when I'm,
mode.
Yeah, I'm on Superman, Batman mode when I'm Trap G. When I'm Rell, I'm laid back, I'm chilling, I'm quiet. You're gonna get a few words from me. That's it. But Trap G, we could talk about everything. I'm open. Trap G is an open person, an open
Right.
book. Rell was more calm, more
Right.
laid back, more
Right.
little subtle. You know what I'm saying?
I get that.
Right.
How about you?
Well, there's a duality to it, you know. When I'm in my regular self, you know, it's the Leo shit. I try not to go back to being Leo, but it's in you, you know.
Yeah.
All three Leo?
Yeah.
So this is a fire sign. See,
Yeah.
I'm a sad.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I get it. Fire signs in the building.
Usually we're into ourselves. We're
Yep.
sort of introverted. Depends if it's some Casamigos flowing.
that's
I
a
guess.
fact.
That's a fact.
But
That's a fact.
mostly introverted. You know, it's like you observe everything. You don't say much until you're like comfortable in the right environment. You know, because you don't want to, you know, expose yourself to the wrong person. It's like,
Right.
oh, I don't even know you like that. But when I got the camera in my hand, I'm more approachable because it's now I'm not, like he said, I get to escape that guy. I get to be an extrovert without any sort of thinking about it. You know, I don't think about it. I got a camera in my hand. I know what I'm coming to do, and also people are more friendly to you when you got, like you said,
Yeah.
with a camera. Me and my normal self, you see me, this tall, black, skinny kid from Harlem. I don't think I want to talk to him. He's kind of not approachable. Maybe
Right.
I don't know.
You don't know what you're gonna get.
Right. But with a camera in my hand, people walk, hey, buddy, what are you shooting?
Yeah.
I'm like, would you talk to me if I didn't have this camera? Like, you know? So, but it's all the same. I'm still that person, but I don't get to fall back into that person. Like, he's in there, but when I'm out shooting, I'm somebody else, but he's in there somewhere. But I'm on, like, airplane mode, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
How about you?
I mean, great question. I feel like it boils down to it being like you said, like a duality, almost 50-50, because I I didn't really notice that I was myself as the painter until a certain time in my life. Like after I had beat the odds to get, like my mom's was like, I'm betting on you, but I don't know. My husband, he master plumber, he working making X amount an hour. And I was like, none of that is impressive to me. I don't care. He could be making 1,000 an hour. Great. Other than that, I know what I want to do, and I know what it takes to get there. With that being said, the man had the soccer get up on, so he just popped it out the window with a whole get up. Crazy. With that being said, I was like, yo, and I used to have to argue with him a lot. My stepfather's like, yo, art is not just like something you think that people just be doing and like try to peddle. And everybody has this idea like you have to be a starving artist till you die. Like that's not the case.
No.
I've been studying art since I was a kid. And art history, art, like everything. And long story short, I used to look at Picasso a lot. I wasn't a Picasso fan until I became an adult, which is funny because when I was young, I used to look at artists that could draw and paint things way beyond Picasso's ability, but they were not at Picasso level. Picasso became Picasso because his story and himself weaved with the work, and himself as an individual was 50-50 to like his persona outside of him. Pablo and Picasso were two different people that he made one superhero. And I was like, well, Justin and Jay West are two different people that I make one superhero. So when I got into that mindset, that's when everything started to click. I was like, all right, I got to put my story into it. I got to put my experience into it. I'm from Harlem. I'm a young black man from Harlem that paints, actually. It's like, what does that look like? What does that sound like? When you get to the moment where they met, what does that look like?
Right.
And your viewers, when they don't see you, what do you tell on the wall? You know what I'm saying? So when I started looking at it like that, it just became very clear that it's like, you're two different people, but don't mind merging the superhero to become like that force. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah.
Well
I
said.
just want to bounce off something he said about the Met and all of that. Like Harlem, we don't got that. We don't got a Met we could go to.
Yeah.
That's why me and my team created that. You feel me?
And that was a great experience.
So we
Like that
created the
museum?
Harlem
Yes.
Trap Museum. You feel me? Just to give our people, my people, Harlem, even if you're not from Harlem, if you're from the hood and you just know, like we tried to give you an aspect of what Harlem looked like during a certain time, or what
Such a
made
valuable time.
And
Valuable.
it's also the other side of Harlem because we
Right.
got the Schomburg that shows the
the-
positive side
the
of
history,
Harlem,
Right,
but not the real.
Right,
but
not
but
people's
not our
story.
era.
Right,
Like what made us us. What
Right.
made this
This
four
here.
individuals sitting up here now us. Like I tried to take it back to that era. So that's what we did with the Harlem Museum. We ain't have a Met, and that was my thing. Like me and the team, we ain't have a Met. We wanted to create a Met, a Met Gala for Harlem, for our culture.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what we
Celebrating that.
did. That's what we did with the museum and
And
shit.
it definitely,
Amazing.
when I say it painted a picture, it told a story. I had to call my mom, like, Mom, you gotta come see this.
Thank you. I
For real,
appreciate it.
because she could tap into that. It was back when I was a child. So when she seen that, you know what I mean, the old school stuff, even down to the coats and stuff that you hanging up in the closet.
He had the rich girl's Devoni vest.
Exactly.
And I was like,
You
how you
can't
even
find
find
that.
that?
Yeah. We
It
had
was a
that.
big
We had
deal.
a few. We
Real
had a
Harlem.
few
Like
things.
I was
Real
saying
Harlem.
on the last episode, I was saying if you was like popular in Harlem or they considered you somebody, you was in there some way somehow.
And
You
this
know
is
what I
this is
mean?
pre-social media.
Right.
Pre-social
Pre-
media.
Right.
This
Right.
is like we kind of like the age of like with Skonax. Remember
Skonax.
Yo.
Skonax for sure.
Skonax was before Facebook.
That's a
People don't
fact.
remember that.
That's a
And
fact.
it's like
Was it
we was
before
on that.
MySpace?
MySpace is probably done now.
Was it before? No, Skonax
It was probably like right around
right
the
around
same time.
Yeah, but
exactly.
that's the era though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So seeing that shit was like, yo, when everybody had their clicks. You feel me?
Yeah, we tried to hit every era in that joint. Like that was our plan. We was gonna hit the 80s.
Yeah.
From
And
when,
then on up.
80s and up. Cause I was born in 86. Of course, I wasn't outside in 86, but
Right.
I was born in 86, and
Right.
you know what I'm saying. So we wanted to hit from there, 90s, 2000s, and then kind of the current what's going on.
Nah, that
Super
should have
accurate.
that
Super
that
accurate.
was so dope. I'm not
Lovely.
even gonna
I tell a
lie.
lot of people that, and not to be long-winded, I tell people like, yo, listen, the Harlem that you hear about now, great. Like there's many accolades as there's always been, but you like I live like I'm
You missed
from.
You had
I
to be
live-
outside.
You had
Yeah,
to been
you
there
had
to
to.
understand where it is I'm coming from. When I tell
Yeah.
you that not only were we creating magic, but we also had to like dodge the warfare.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
Cause we
it
could be
was-
sitting at a basketball game, and after the
and-
basketball game, it may be lit.
maybe during.
Word.
So let the game not go right. It should get ended.
Word.
Like we normalized that because that was our backdrop.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But to anybody else, they're like, you lived through that, and it's like, yeah, that's
Yeah, it's regular.
that was
It's
right.
regular.
That was
Gang
every
activity,
weekend.
gang
Yeah.
activity,
We normalized
in New
what-
York.
Yeah, like what some people would call like a trauma, like post-traumatic, whatever. And I don't feel post-traumatic about
Word.
anything, but I also feel like when I look back at it, it's like, damn, we went through some shit.
Yo,
Word.
yo.
We
what I'm
lived
saying?
through some shit.
We
Yeah.
lived through some
Word.
shit.
Right, when you tell somebody that's not from this, like, yo, let me tell you this, and you laughing about it, yo, we was over here, we was chilling,
Right,
they
and they
start
be like,
shooting at
wait,
us, and you
what?
know, They're shooting at you. Wait, come back. They were like
Word.
actually, right? Exactly. It's like
Nah, that's a fact. I remember one of the Kingdom games I went to, and I had on fucking chancletas. Why did I put those on?
Oh my God.
Because when I say they
Coming out
started
comfy
shooting,
and running.
I was gone, toes on fire. I was sick.
Hold on, was these the Chinese slippers? Was it those?
It wasn't those.
Okay,
It was
okay.
Those gonna pop.
Okay.
Those walk
Those-
fast.
Exactly. It was like I was at that time I was wearing a name brand called Penguin, and Penguin had made some slippers, and I had on a whole fit. I thought I was
like
lit.
Penguin. I still fuck with
Yeah,
Penguin.
Penguin's cool. I had that on, and they started shooting. My
was
feet
out of
was
the
on
joints.
fire. I was gone, and I'm like, damn, I knew better than this dude.
Right.
I knew
You was too
way
cozy.
better.
You
I was
thought
too
you was in the
cozy.
Hamptons.
Yeah, I was chilling. I'm like, I knew this shit was gonna go left. Why did I do
Hold on,
that?
when shit get too lit, like at that certain time, it's like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
this
you
shit's
know.
still lit.
Exactly.
Wait a minute, it's time to go.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's so crazy because it's like a fly turn up, which is
Right.
weird.
100%.
It's weird. We
Yeah.
all came dressed to impress, but nigga, you may be on your ass with those
that's
those
100%.
boots. You
Yeah,
like,
you
you know
better
what I
be
mean?
careful with them loafers.
Exactly.
Yo,
feel me?
nah, yeah,
It's
it
so
was
crazy
real.
because Ferg and I used to be. We would plan get-ups and like. This is when we were making change. You remember we were doing the Swarovski crystal.
Yo,
Yeah.
yo.
Mhm.
So Ferg and I was doing Swarovski crystal chains, and we were looking at Rell and Nigo and them. Obviously, none of us afford at that time like those diamonds,
Yellow
like,
diamonds, blue
yellow diamond, pink
diamonds.
diamonds, and the
Yeah,
chain
yeah,
weighed
yeah.
4 pounds. It's like nah,
Yeah.
but we know how to make them. So me and Ferg was like, all right, let's just do it. And he was like, you sure? Like Kingdom gonna be crazy. I'm like, we backing out. Oh. Bada boom.
Yeah.
You feel me? So with that being said, we was coming through with the Kingdom with chains like glistening. They looked like diamonds. The weight was right. The chain was beautiful. And it was like,
And
that
niggas
was
don't
just
know
our
no better.
creative.
And niggas don't know no
Nobody
better.
in the hood didn't know. They couldn't tell the difference. They just thought if you had Kingdom and you shining, you got it.
You lit.
Luckily, we never got into a situation where nobody tried to stick us or nothing like that because we had the hood with us all the
Right,
time.
right.
And it was like, I talk to my man XYZ because he here too. But it's like we wanted to just show off what we could do as artists. And people started to catch up. We had people from Japan hitting us up back then. From Facebook and all that. I'm like, yo, it sound like a scam.
Word.
Everything was a scam to us because it's like, what's the world outside of Harlem? Right. And then now
We
look
ain't
how
know no
things
better.
fast forward. We didn't know no better, but it's funny that we kept on with that. You know what I'm saying? That creative expression.
Right.
Shit's just crazy. But Kingdom was a great time.
Yo, a
Kingdom
great,
was
what a
great
time.
Like I wasn't around for Rucker.
Me neither. I was
You know what I mean?
I wasn't around for
I
Rucker.
feel like I went to
I feel
Rucker
like
games,
I'm
but it
showing
wasn't
my
like.
age.
No, but you know what's funny?
Yeah.
I think that depends on like where you was in Harlem too.
Right,
like,
right, because I wasn't that far.
Rucker was an uptown thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm in the
Yeah.
20s,
And
so
it's
I
so
was
crazy
always
because
15
Yeah.
you know.
I grew up on 142nd, but I wasn't going up there for
Up
those
there,
games.
right.
I stopped at 145th. That was my thing.
That's
Like, you know
it.
what I mean?
Rucker line and waiting, that was a different
That was a whole
time.
different
I remember being at Rucker for the blackout, the Terror Squad in Rockefeller
Wow.
game.
Oh, wait,
Yo.
that was during like the blackout?
Yo, I was there. I was 2 rows behind Terror Squad bench.
Damn.
I just got in the park probably
that was about to be a
20
game.
minutes. It was about to be a game. They had LeBron on the bus.
LeBron?
Yeah, he was on the bus,
Nah,
chilling.
that's
Jeez
fine.
Louise.
Chilling. It was
That's
about to be a
legendary.
game.
That's
I
fire.
remember the park marshal, the park police coming in. Like, yo, we gotta shut this down. It's a blackout in New York City. We ain't
I
gonna
remember
have
the
no
blackout
lights.
though.
in-
I remember the blackout.
I was working
I
so
was in
Miami.
the gym. I was in Menacing.
Yo, he said, yo, we ain't gonna have
Shooting.
no lights once it get dark.
Yeah, it's like, and then it's gonna be dangerous.
But that
It's
shit, was,
over.
that shit was mad fun that
Yo,
blackout.
took
It
me
was.
about,
If you
It
was on your
was.
stupid, so on your
took me
block.
about 6 hours to
That's
get in the park.
word.
Word.
Word to everything.
Took you
'Cause
6
had-
hours to do what?
To get in the park, to get in 55th, you had to line up.
Yeah.
Like you really had to leave
It
the
was
block.
a thing.
Yeah, you had to leave the block
Ahead of
an
time.
hour and a half, depending on who playing.
Right.
Yeah.
You
To
feel
get
me?
in.
Steph and AI playing, you gotta leave early
Crazy.
just to get in.
Yeah,
Crazy.
but that's legendary.
That is legendary.
You know,
That's
that's-
fire.
The
I
wildest
wish.
when Kobe pulled up. That was the wildest.
And I missed
that. was
that.
the wildest shit in the world.
Yeah, I missed the
man.
Kobe
wildest
pull up.
shit in the world.
And it was supposed to rain that day, and it didn't rain. They still had it in the park.
Crazy.
That's crazy, yo.
Legendary.
It's
But
so
it's like-
I dead ass remember that blackout though. I was in Menacing. We
Word.
shooting around. We chilling. Let's
Just
go
a
out.
Jew.
We kids. We like, oh, these niggas ain't pay their bills.
Right.
Now we come out. We on
Joking.
Linux. Oh,
There's
the
no street
cars
signs.
is bugging.
Right,
We
everybody
like,
honking.
nah,
It was
something
wild.
is
That was a
happening.
wild night.
You feel me?
The energy.
Right.
Wait,
So now,
word on the street, Polo Grounds was the only place that had power in Harlem at that time on the Black Eye. That's
I
why.
think
That's
that's
crazy.
generators is because we got all that
Word on
money
the
pumping
street.
up there. Like, you're like, all right, we gotta have extra power.
yo, I remember walking Linux with my mom's home, like
nah,
from,
the
cause
blackout was
my
crazy.
grandmother lived on 142nd,
Yeah.
and we moved to the east side, and we walking down with Linux, and it was mayhem. But we walking comfortably.
Right.
People robbing the stores for little stupid shit,
Yeah,
water,
yeah, they-
just doing dumb
A
stuff.
Walkman,
Like you
maybe.
feel me? And we
player.
just me and my mom was just walking. Like this is really
This is
crazy.
what's going on. It felt like it was such a big thing
was
at the time.
cookouts.
And everything.
And it was grilling in the street.
Yeah, it was
all night.
everything.
Grilling?
Everything.
Facts.
It's a
It
thing.
It was
wild.
parties. It was
wild.
everything.
And piggybacking off that, if we're not running over time, when 9/11 happened, it's not to be morbid or not like that.
Same
9/11 was
shit.
a
I remember
time.
9/11.
But I remember I was in a MS-44 on 77th Street. A couple mad Harlemites went to MS-44, Napoleon for 116th, this and that, like mad people. Long story short, that happened, and my substitute teacher at the time was Jamaican, heavy ass accent. Nobody understood what she was talking about. She come into class, she's like, something done happened, blah blah blah, downtown. Things are shut. And we was like, what you even talk?
You don't
I don't know what
understand
you
it because of the
talking-
accent. The
So
accent is crazy.
I don't get it. A whole plane hit the building. You talking about a shut? What's shut? Like, so we still wilding. And then the principal came and was like, everyone has to come to the I was like, all right, cool, something going on. And then they, over the radio, we listened to like the broadcast, like it's a soccer game. This shit over the broadcast, like,
Yo.
and a second plane. And
Yo.
I'm like,
It was a big
I'm
thing.
like this, I'm like, oh, something is happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
When we got out of school, we had to walk uptown. Luckily, we were still in Midtown, considered. We had to walk, and I was like, you felt the energy.
Yeah,
Now-
yo.
Shit
so
was
when
crazy.
People, when people around the country, I go all over. When people around the country be like, wow, what was it like in that? Like, where were you at? And I was
Scary.
like, I was in Manhattan.
It was scary.
I'm
Word.
from it. I was in Manhattan.
Word.
Luckily, I wasn't downtown, but I was in the borough.
Word. I was
That
in
shit
school
was
too.
indescribable.
I was
Yo,
in school
I was
too.
in class, and I feel like when you mention that, I used to ask people that shit in college. Like, how old were you when that happened? That show
Right.
your age, right?
Yeah, that show your
I think
age.
I was in 7th grade, and I was going to St. Mark's. And when you're in Catholic school, well, especially in that school, the parents are not allowed to come upstairs.
Right.
They call
I
you from the
remember we went to St.
loudspeaker.
Mark's, see?
They call you from the loudspeaker and you come down. Nigga, my mom's came upstairs
Stormed
inside the
up.
classroom like you're playing. Shit is blowing up. Let's
Exactly,
go.
right.
You feel me? And I'm like,
buildings
Ma,
are
what's
like-
happening? Because it's not happening in Harlem, so
Right,
I
it's
ain't
weird.
think it's that deep. By
Until you
the
see the
time we
news.
walked home and looked on the news, she like, look, it's serious.
Shit was wild. Right downtown.
Right
But I
downtown.
remember that shit.
Vivid.
I remember that shit sitting in 4th Park and just seeing everybody
Smoke.
crossing the bridge. Not
Walking.
even the smoke, just walking because
Walking.
the buses and shit.
Stop.
And there's so much traffic. But I also remember having the blueprint on
Yes, yes.
in my
yes.
Walkman. Like
That's
as I'm looking
crazy.
at this shit, because that shit came out that day.
Same day.
You feel me? And I just happened to go to what was on 25th, the music joint,
Was it the Rainbow?
HMV.
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 Yeah.
I went to HMV to cop Jay and Fab album because they both dropped that day.
That's crazy.
And then went to school, and then left school probably like an hour later.
Because it was like, nah, school canceled.
Yeah, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
That's crazy.
But still listen to Jay shit uptown
Yeah.
though, in the park, and this
Watching
shit
all
just done.
people, yeah,
You know what I'm
went
saying?
down.
Dog.
Yeah, that was wild. I'm just remember, you know, when you look straight down Lenox, you could see
Yeah,
the
yeah,
building.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like it was nothing
Smoke,
but smoke,
trail,
and it
yeah.
was the craziest. I wish I had a camera at that time because that was crazy.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Especially from our perspective, because from Harlem, it's a straight shot,
Straight
especially on
down.
Lenox. You can see
Yeah.
right down. Empire State Building, clear as day. And that's like in that vicinity, you would see the smoke. Yeah, it's just crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I want to say this, like, just with, like, the memories and everything, like, you know, going down that lane and, you know what I mean, us talking about, you know, hardship and shit like that and where we at today. I appreciate y'all, man. For
Nah,
real,
we
for real.
appreciate
Thank y'all
you.
so much.
Yeah.
But even, like, coming out, I know this shit is so deep. You know
Nah,
what I mean?
nah, that
Like,
shit
it
ain't
just
done.
was,
I was in
and
the Uber like,
I
I'm in
couldn't,
Phoenix.
I'm not gonna even lie, I couldn't do this without y'all, bro.
Thank
like,
you.
for real. So thank y'all so much.
Yo,
bro.
we-
We gonna
no,
toast
no,
up.
we thank
Yeah,
you.
it means a lot.
I
No, hold on, wait.
Your
My
cup, you leave
I'm
it.
not-
We
nah.
gonna toast, because
No,
you fucked
I
up.
got it. D, can I get another one?
You got an ear toast. You got an ear toast.
Yeah, you can't toast with an
Thank
empty
y'all
cup.
so much,
You can't
yo.
toast with an empty cup.
Nah, but this is dope. This is. I hope this will go on forever.
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
we can build from this and we come back again.
Facts,
Let's come back
facts.
again.
Revisit it,
right,
right?
on the 1 year or the 2 year, the
Word.
5 year. Let's
That'd
come
be
back.
dope.
We do the next one on the yacht. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be
Absolutely.
fire.
I might have a yacht by
That's
there. And I'll be like,
fire.
yo, trap, come
Can't
through.
wait.
Yeah.
Fact.
And your
Can't
yacht
wait.
gonna be there. We gonna be fucked up.
Fact.
Lovely.
We
Yeah,
good?
fire.